And so I was just, if you want to briefly run through like kind of like how you got started, like what your career in entertainment has been, and then
Okay.
how you started Black Salt, and then how you got through all these milestones to where like just to break whatever they call where it's like I'll give the lead up front. It's like, this is you're now six series into a comic franchise that's now had short films. It's been licensed by HBO to be a feature film. You're developing it as a video game, and it's like a whole. And what I all talk about on here is like you have a true independent comic
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
so
Thank you.
like you are the perfect example of where you've hit every ground to the extreme levels, and we want to know how'd you get into it? How'd you get this
Yeah, because
far and
I
what's
had
next?
contacted you some time ago and you sent me, your stuff, and I know you're a filmmaker and I went through your email, your website and stuff like that. So you're not bad yourself.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, you're not bad yourself. So I started off in the music business.
Okay.
Okay, okay, I'm from LA.
All right.
I live in Vegas now. I grew up with Suge and Dr. Dre and all of them. We all grew up in Compton. And then I had moved to Ohio. So I started a record label there called Ratty Records. And
Whoa, okay.
and I ended up selling, I sold 1 million copies.
Oh,
Yeah,
well done.
yeah, yeah. And then I also did soundtracks. I worked on the Blade soundtrack, the Bullworth, Faking the Funk, Better Way to Die. So I worked on a lot of,
Nice.
soundtracks. So a mentor of mine from LA, he was working at Paramount. He was an accountant, but he was also a producer. So I would fly
Okay.
back to LA to visit my parents and go be with him and be on the sets of some big movies. So he said, "Man, your music and your music videos are so tight." He said, "You'd be perfect going into, the movie business." So he kind of, you know, start mentoring me. And my first movie was Unstable Minds, and we ended up selling that to HBO. So that's where I got my feet wet. And then I
Okay.
wanted to do, something on my own, and I wanted to do a black superhero because it seemed like all the men in the industry, when they portrayed a black man in the movies, he was either a drug dealer or wasn't taking care of his kids or something like that. So I wanted to create like a hero.
Yeah.
So I, was in martial arts when I was young, and we were stuck on, kung fu, kung fu theater and all of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and I was in comic books as a kid. So I started off with the comics. So
Okay.
so I did 4 issues, the first 4 issues, and I was like, okay, this is comics is good, but I want to get to the, production. I want to see something live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then I did the proof of concept. I did the 30-minute proof of concept, and I put it in a festival. It was called an Urban Action Showcase, and HBO was sponsoring it. And there was a winner, so I won first prize, first place. And part of the prize was you got a licensing deal with HBO for 26 months, and you got some money and everything like that. So I did that, and when it came off of HBO, I had investors, I had everybody calling to want to take it to the next level. And then my mother got cancer, was diagnosed with cancer.
Ah,
So I had to I put the project sat on the shelf for 5 years because I became her caregiver.
well, you made the right choice. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
that's the devil's
yeah.
choice where they say, "Do you want the fame or family?" And you
Yeah, I had to take care
you
of my,
made the right one.
so I took care of her until she passed, and then she passed away in 22, and COVID was kind of still going on and stuff like that. So about a year and a half ago, it was just sitting on the shelf. I said, you know what, it's time for me to at least pull it back off the shelf and try to make this thing, see if I can make it go again, you know.
Yeah.
So I was in development with the feature, for the last like, year and a half, writing, getting scripts and stuff like that. So I have the movie now I'm at the last stage of development now, and I'm looking for a sales agent, to help me package it right now.
Yeah.
So I got everything, and I also did a video game demo, and the demo is still on Steam right now. So I'm gonna try to, I'm just trying to, finish where I left off. I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
got so much done back then that I said, let me just give it one more try, you know. So now I want to take, for the comic book series, I'm working on issues 5 and 6, and then I want to turn it into a graphic novel.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Is
so
issue 6 is like the last, like the full arc of the
yeah, yes,
story?
yes. Issue 6 is a full arc.
Does it tell the same story as what will be the feature film?
You know what? I changed a lot of similarities, but I changed, because what would happen, this was in America, then it took place in China. Sam Black Salt, he's a secret agent. But when I sent the script some years ago to my friend in China, he said, they wouldn't want a bad guy that was Chinese. They said, make him Japanese. You know what I mean? Because the Chinese, and I was real depressed. But then you know what? I said, if I, it was kind of good because I said now I can make the enemies Yakuza.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and now I can add that Japanese element for another target market.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of how I turned it, so he's fighting the Yakuza.
Interesting.
Yes.
Did did you hire did or I guess like for the screenplay for the short or the proof of concept that you did
Uh-huh.
you write that script or was that
I wrote the
developed?
rough draft. I wrote the rough draft, and then
Okay.
I brought in a, more experienced writer, and then I hired a nice sized director, Ben Ramsey. He did Blood and Bones, and he did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well,
So
that's what I was going to get to is
yes.
like, so for us, we know that basically it's like a film like that to someone outside the industry might think like it's a nothing thing. But like
Mhm.
even a 30-minute film at a high level is expensive. And if you're getting like essentially A-list people
Mhm.
involved,
Yeah.
did you fund that yourself or did you have to
You
get
know what's
private
funny? I
investors or?
fund that off of Indiegogo.
Oh, okay,
I
nice.
raised $40,000.
Well done.
But yeah,
Okay.
but you know what? Because like I said, that was 10 years ago. What I noticed, man, crowdfunding is 10 times harder than it was back then.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
What's the insight you can give us about crowdfunding? Like, how'd you do it then, and then what makes it harder now?
You know what? It's more saturated now.
Yeah,
It's way more saturated, and it just seemed like people don't have the disposable income that they had back then. I mean,
that's
I
true. Yeah.
raised $40,000 in 6 days.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
but now, like I said, I've been working on, my pre-launch, and it's just so much harder. I just couldn't believe how much harder it is. You know,
Yeah, that's
I
but
have
you're still getting high numbers.
514
I mean,
followers right now, but I've been working my behind off.
yeah, yeah. Well, what kind of work do you do to just like build? I mean, obviously, I like because the material you sent me is like what I tell people like you need a ton of stuff. It takes a lot of work to do this, and like you have all your ducks in a row of like every aspect of anything, any link to any information, any images, like full blown press kit, and it's like so I can tell like you know how to get it out and get in front
Yeah.
of
And,
people.
and I learned that from the music business.
Yeah, so fill me in on like we'll back up to like your success in music. Like first, how did you because for all of us I always explain it's like if you figure something out and you made it work, like you can use those methods or like what you
Yes.
learned in other aspects of the industry. So music can some of it can correlate to comics. And so
Yes.
clearly you had a skill set that you learned to get that far. What did you do to break into music and then become successful there?
Because everybody, like I said, growing up in Compton, everybody was in music. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, I mean,
So you
every
were like close with those that crew,
I mean,
or was
I
it just
knew him.
such
Like I
everybody
said,
was
we was
into
all
it?
in the neighborhood, so I knew those
That's
guys.
wild.
Yeah, I knew those guys. So we was all in the neighborhood. And then, like, when I moved to Ohio, it was like I went through a time warp because they were so far behind than, growing up in LA, LA, Hollywood, and everything like that. And then my mother, she was in entertainment for a little, she used to run I don't know if you knew a comedian years ago. Her name was Phyllis Diller.
Not
And
ringing a bell, but I'll look her up.
if you look her up, she was big. She was big.
Yeah.
So my mother, ran her company.
Oh,
So, when I was little, I mean, I was like 7, 8, so I was going over to the mansion, because I met like Bob Hope, and when I was a baby, but all those big stars that ran Hollywood back then, I
oh, she's
kind
like
of,
old Hollywood.
yeah, that's old Hollywood. Yeah, because I was a kid, baby, So,
Yeah, yeah.
just kind of start learning and everything like that, and because everybody was into music. And with music, you get a real discipline. You got to make the song. And then what I learned, I got a degree in marketing. What I wanted to do was learn how to not only make the product, but package it and sell it. So when I did my first maxi single, I went to Best Buy and Media Play, and I had asked them, I said, hey, can I do some consignment with you guys? And they told me, no, we don't do consignment with locals. So I saw a friend of mine had a used car dealership, and I saw him on BET, his commercial. I said, man, I know he didn't have the money because he didn't have that much money. Like, how did he get his commercial on, So I went and talked to him, and he said, oh man, I get these spots between $7 to $20 a spot, and then he's right there on local TV. Now, it was just in that city, but the people in that city thought it was, because it came on, you watching your famous rap video, you know, and then the commercial comes on. So I
Yeah.
went to the cable company, and man, they gave me some good deals. So I did a commercial, and then I went back to Media Play and Best Buy and said, "Hey, I got 50 spots." And I put their names on it and let them see it. They was like, "Wow," So already that gave me, and
Whoa.
then when they saw the quality of my CD, just what you saw, it looked just like if you went and got Bow Wow or anybody, any big name.
Yeah.
So they gave me some consignment. They gave me a listening station, an end cap. They kind of gave me everything. And I sold 95,000 maxi singles, like that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So then
That's
so I went to so they let me do that in all the stores. So I was kind of like my own supplier, my own distribution because I
yeah,
had
you
the
were
chain
true
stores.
DIY. Like
You know,
that's amazing.
yeah. So it
There's
just
two
kind of
aspects of that story that like I I've seen this happen before and I want to tell people it's like what you what I get out of that is like when you're so fresh to this, it's like you kind of hear there's sort of two ways in. It's like somebody brings you in, like you
uh-huh.
partner with somebody that knows how things work. They might have the agent, they have the connections with like you're saying Best Buy or whatever. If you don't know that person, you sort of have to just like look around and you literally like look at a billboard or look at a commercial or and ask somebody like, how did you do that? And then they'll go, I did this thing. And then when you did that and you finally like the person on the other end responds and they want to buy, then you learn what really is needed because they give you like the official specs. They'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, if we're gonna buy
Yes.
it, it needs to be this is the QA or like the quality assurance. It needs to be we need to buy this many copies. So then
Right.
you learn, okay, I need to be able to buy 10,000 of these. How do I do
Yeah.
that? Then they'll go, it needs to be this size with this image with whatever it is and you like they'll give you all that
Yes.
information And
Yes.
then you're in, and they don't give that to anybody unless they're ready to buy. So no one really knows that information, especially back then when you were doing
Yeah.
this. Like there
Yes.
was only one way in, like they bought it
Yes.
or they did. It's
Right.
not like you could go online and search it. And even now, a lot of that stuff is hidden. It's like a
Woo, hidden.
private, you have to sign agreements to see that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no one can get in. That's the insider information. And
Yes.
like you just did it like to where you like kind of just like step by step your way in and then just
Yes.
figured it out once you figured out what they needed, you just built it.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome. Oh man. That so once you like did that, how did you then sort of grow it as a company and what made you finally like pivot out of that?
Because like I said, I started, I was doing my own music videos. And then, like I said, when I met my mentor in LA, he was big up in Paramount. And, so I started working with him. So I kind of got that movie bug, because he took me on big sets, on some of the big movies, and I said, whoa, I said, I like this, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So then we kind of, I kind of branched off and I said, okay, let me try the movie industry now. And then when we did Unstable Minds, that movie, and it did pretty good, man. So I said, okay, let me do something on my own. So then that's when I said, I want to create like a black superhero and a superhero in a sense. I didn't want him to have like powers. I wanted him to just be like a Batman where, off of his skills and his Shaolin training and his discipline, because, I play basketball and everything, so off of his skills, I wanted a hero like that, not with no superpowers.
Yeah.
I mean, his
I
super,
like that better too.
yeah, his superpowers was his chi and Shaolin. You know how they can do feats,
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought that
Sort
would
of
be more
realistic,
interesting.
grounded skill, like ultra high level skill sets, not like the gods gave you the powers to do
Right,
something.
right, right. Just something different because everybody got a superhero character, that got powers or something like that. So I just said, let me just try a little something different.
So how did you get connect? Did you get an agent for any of this stuff? Like getting connected to the director of Blood and Bone. How did you
Okay, so
how
how
did
I
that come
met
about?
Ben, so how I met Ben, I was doing a lot of marketing with the comic with just the four issues at that time. And people were starting to hear about Black Salt. And I was selling merchandise, the hats and t-shirts and stuff like that. I mean, I sold a lot of them.
Nice.
So, I had a little buzz on the internet about Black Salt. So a friend of mine went to Ben. He said, hey, I got a friend of mine that has a short that wants you to direct. And first Ben said no. And then he said, oh, well, what is it? He said, Black Salt. He said, man, I heard of that comic book. You, you know,
Whoa.
so I got in touch with him and then I sent him everything and he, just do my marketing, what I already had. He's like, wow, so he said, let's make a go of it. So I said,
That's awesome.
so I told him I'm gonna raise the money on Kickstarter. So he helped me, he did some commercials and stuff that we put out and stuff like that. And then it just started to grow.
Nice. Is he still attached to be is he still involved in what will be the next
You
film?
know what? I'm going to try to get him back involved, but I'm going for a bigger direct. I mean, because you know how the industry is. I mean, he's big, but now they want a bigger. I mean, if I had it, I would have him because he's an excellent director. you know.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna get him back involved. I didn't want to bring nobody in until like me, I like to have all my ducks in a row because everybody tell you, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So I'm just trying to get everything, get it to a point where I'm gonna start going and getting some people,
Yeah, I get you there.
I'm doing all of the leg work and the hard work, and stuff like that first and then I'll start to go back, because I mean he already knows the quality that I put out, because me and him he helped me, so he know
Yeah,
my work
yeah.
ethic and everything like that.
Well, that's why I was wondering if like came on as a producer or anything like that, but it sounds like you're just helming everything and just packaging it as you can, trying to go as high level as you can.
Then but yeah, like I said, so I'm looking for, some sales agents now. My producing partner who helped me do the proof of concept, his partner now is a guy named Ozzy, and Ozzy ran Tyler Perry's studio for 10 years. He was the president.
All
So,
right.
yeah, as a matter of fact, Ozzy's brother and sister still works for Tyler. The whole family worked for him, but Ozzy was the president. If you got a check from Tyler within those 10 years that he signed the check.
Okay.
So he just got a deal where he can get films funded up to 50 million.
All right.
So he has a film that he's doing, but his film is just in the book form. So he has to go out and hire a writer and everything like that. So my partner Ed, which is his partner too, said, let's do Black Salt since it's already ready to go.
Yeah.
So we're kind of talking to see, because it's going, like I said, it's going to at least take 8 months because, he still has to write the script for his,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
so,
for people that are outside of this whole thing, it's like,
uh,
I don't think that, like, I didn't know, and it still shocks me, like, every step of the way, just how sort of all the stars have to align in order for a film to get made, especially at a
yeah,
really high level. It's
yeah,
like you can have, like, first just getting to the steps of like a relationship with somebody that then can all has a relationship with other people is like hard enough in itself. But it's like even where you're at, it's like you can have some of the biggest players in the game and you're still, it's like, okay, but now you have to figure out like the whole pack, like where you're at and I'm at in similar
yeah, you're
boat
similar.
too with all
Yeah,
my IP. It's like everything is sort of a you need financing, but you can't get financing without the assets attached and assets. It's like a is, the big one is the IP. And like and so it's like you have to go through a bunch of steps, like which are the ones you did. So it's like you need to establish an audience. You need to have something people can read. It needs to have basically something visual. And it can't just be an idea or even just a script. It's like, but then, now then you need a screenplay and then they need an accurate budget. And then you have to figure out who's above the line talent. And then, it's like all these sort of things you have to juggle together, and you can't get one without the other. So you have to sort of do them at the same time. And
yeah,
that's where you need someone like active in the industry to where you're like constantly playing this. You get the hot girls at the party by telling them the football players are there, but you just basically have to lie to them and be like, the football
you do,
players are there,
you
like,
do, you do, you
and
do.
like it's just this constant like game. And then if any of it falls through, well, then you're back to like square one.
Yeah,
And what I, kind of what I hear about people that are really, really active in the industry is the next level is like you get all the ducks aligned in the row, and then someone signs something, and then and just like in comics, then somebody goes bankrupt, or they change the director or
mhm,
the leader of the studio, and he just puts the kibosh on everything. And since they signed something and they own a piece, now you lose everything because everything's contingent on
right.
that piece of funding or that actor or that director. And since you don't own everything anymore, they own a piece, you're kind of screwed. And like that's where it's like like truly the stars have to
I
align.
mean, it's hard,
It's not
because what
just,
I'm
well,
trying
I
to
know
do,
this guy.
yeah, yeah, because I tell you what else I'm trying to do is, because you know how you have to sign, and then they kind of take your project from you in a sense. What I'm trying to do is like get my own sales agent,
Hmm.
and then the sales agent helps me get a pre-sale. Okay, so now you
Yeah.
have a pre-sale territory. Then you use your dang, I don't want blank. Yeah, what's that? your tax credits,
Yeah, yeah,
and then, I have a product placement company that I've already talked to. So I'm trying to piece this together so they don't just take my project. See, I'm trying to create the more leverage you can create in this business. And then the
yeah.
reason why I did so many product lines, because just say, okay, I have to give the movie up, but I'm gonna negotiate. I can't give you the merchandising. You can, like I said, you can get a piece of the merchandising.
That's what I was gonna say. You know the game, like because what I didn't know is like uh before I got into this is that you you think that you just I have my thing, I have my comic series, so and so's interested, and like for you, it's like you win the contest or whatever, like, and you're just like now it's done. Now HBO bought it, now they make it, but it doesn't necessarily work like that. It's like
Nope.
people license things, and
And the
like
option that, see, it's the
the
option.
only thing you have
Yeah.
is your IP and the separate rights that you can sort of lever or whatever they call that, to where it's like you basically like give away that piece and that like helps secure funding because no one just gives you money for nothing. You
No.
have to give them something. So
Yes.
like they fund the film by owning a piece of it, but
Yeah.
you sort of have to keep a hold of as much as you can. And if
Yeah.
you're in control, like you and I are doing, you're doing all this yourself to where if like somebody comes in, some big name that people recognize as far as a production company or a distributor that also like produces things, well, what happens is they basically take over every facet and they
Yeah.
basically go, we own this now. And if it turns into a thing, you get maybe a little piece of one piece
And
or
see, that's what
something
I'm
like
trying to
that.
avoid right now.
And
So the
yeah, and
more
it's just
yeah,
like,
that's what I'm trying to avoid if I can.
yeah, exactly. I'm the same. Like, first of all, those deals are hard enough to come by anyway,
Yeah.
but it's like nowadays, especially with the changing of Hollywood or
Oh my
whatever,
God, it's
I just
terrible.
listen to, I mean, I listen to podcasts all the time, and like everyone in the industry just like is saying the same thing. Like, just like with Kickstarter, it's harder now. They're not making movies like they used to.
Yeah.
Movies aren't making money like they used to. It's the same with comics. Like, it's
Oh,
just like
comics is
everything's harder. Like, all of
yeah.
entertainment is, it's as if
Well, it's
just
it's saturated too, man. See, and I'm
saturated
gonna
to
tell you
the,
where it went wrong is technology. Okay, I'll give you an example by the music business. Now, when I first started doing music, you had to go into the studio. The big studio, and the big studio is like $150 an hour. So that kept all of the amateurs out. But the minute
yeah,
technology came and you could go to Best Buy for $300 and get your your little home studio, now you start putting out all of that crap that went out.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So then it just got
Hmm.
so saturated, and that's the same thing with the movie industry. The cameras, you can do it on your phone and everything like that. So it just saturated everything, and,
Yeah.
and and that's the problem. That's some of the problem, and then the sad thing, like you said, the filmmakers and stuff, like they don't try to learn a little bit of the business. You got to know
No,
something. You
yeah.
can't just, even if you're a good script writer, but you need to know at least a little bit of the business. And I notice most people, they don't want to learn the business.
Very few that are like actively creative also are understanding and accepting of the business side. It's like the people that are normally on the business side are the worst. They're like they are like stereotypical. They want to make a lot of money, want to make it fast. They're very interested in all the legal and financial aspects of this stuff, but they don't know or care or really how a movie is made or
Yeah,
like what makes something good. But the
yeah,
people that do know how to make stuff or care a lot about it, at least, they don't know anything about the business side. It's like very rare that you find this niche of like people like you and I that are somewhat good at both sides,
yeah,
like or
yeah.
at least like passionate and understanding of both sides of the coin. And but it's at the same time it is like you were just saying, the barrier to entry into all this is a lot easier, which is why you and I are able to do it, even though it's just not. it's like just hard enough to be to where you can still keep out most people, but it's
Yeah.
just easy enough to where anyone can think they can do it. It's
Yeah.
like it's a weird combination that and now but now what's interesting, I don't want to talk forever on this tangent about like, the fall of everything, but
Oh no, no, you're
it's
right.
just that I feel like my kids, they don't care about movies. Like when I was growing up, all I cared about were movies.
Yeah.
Like it was like to the point that by the time I graduated high school and was in college, I had like culture shock when I realized not everyone in my like in the world wanted to be a filmmaker. Like it was like I was like, what do you mean like this isn't like everything to you? And so it's weird to have like kind of people around me now, especially like my kids and even like colleagues, to where movies just aren't that much of a thing anymore. Like to them, it's just as interesting, if not more interesting, to scroll TikTok. And to me,
Yeah.
it's like, what's happening here? Like, how are movies like
Yeah.
dwindling?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But people are everyone is still into shows, like binge worthy shows, and people still do watch movies. And if a good one comes around, it does still take the world by storm. And the same with comics, where people talk about comics are dead or people aren't buying as much as they did. But at the same time, there's more graphic novels sold today than there ever were. And manga is one of the major things, a part of that. And
Yeah.
young adult graphic novels and stuff like that. It's like people are reading the medium. It's just the way we consumed it in the past isn't the same. The
Yes.
and so it's like it's not that it's dying, it's just transitioning. And I think that for people like you and I who still have the passion for what's good, I
Yeah.
think that it will shine. Where like they're like people still need people that know how to make good movies, and the
Yeah.
new kids that are getting into it, that are going to college to make films, they they're not, I don't know, it's like like they maybe didn't have the exact same kind of passion we did going into it, just
Yes.
didn't go to school for it, or at least I didn't for very long.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't
basically you
go.
could say I
I
did
didn't
not
go.
go at all, and
Yeah.
just tried to do it on our own,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like that's how I heard. That's the only way I knew how to do it. It was like you just got a camera and then you made a film and then you try to then what happened? That's and actually what's I don't want to go too much into my brief past, but I also the first click I had with how the business side of creative everything was whenever I was just out of high school. I had friends who were recording music, and we had maybe what you call recording studio, even though it was not legit in any way, shape, or form. It was just us with a microphone. But we did try to sell a mixtape, and one person emailed me back and like gave me real information of like how things get on the radio. And like that just like changed everything to where like suddenly just someone gave me, it wasn't like a broad statement. It was like, here's what it takes. It costs, you need to prove that you sold this many things or what. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was kind of like, there's two ways. You either basically license the right to this thing and have proof
Mhm.
that you owned it. And like told me the metrics. He's like, this person owns it if it sells less than this much. This person owns it if it
Mhm.
sells more than that.
Mhm.
And he was like, it's mine if it's like in this category. And if it's mine, I'll get you on the radio if you do this. And like I can get it on this station, this station. He was essentially, and I was like, oh, so this is how it works. Like you kind of, there's somebody that knows how to do everything, and then you have to fulfill whatever they're asking for.
Right.
And if you don't know how to do that, you then have to go to the another guy and go,
Yeah.
hey, how do I buy beats? Like,
Yeah.
do I just go online or like, and
Yeah.
then once I make the beat, like when I have the song, how do I copyright it? Like
Right.
all that stuff I didn't know, but it was just when someone finally said, "Here's what you need to get it on the radio," I was like, "All right, now I can do this. Now I can figure out how to be a business or whatever." I
Yes.
never was successful at it, but at least I knew the steps. But anyway, enough about me.
No, that's no problem. That's no problem. But
I guess yeah, so to bring it back to now modern times. So uh for the comic, what are you doing right now to sort of like grow your pre-launch followers? Like I'm assuming you can just give us the beat sheet of like
Okay,
I'm assuming
so
you have an email list.
okay, yeah. So I'm building an email list. I'm doing TikTok ads and
Okay.
Facebook. Because I'm also the COO of a metaverse company. And
Eh,
we own an influencer agency called MetaStars. So we have
Whoa.
yeah. So I'm in the tech, the other side of that. And that it might be what end up paying off. Like my partner just got back from Dubai, and the government of Dubai want us to do their metaverse when they saw ours.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, because we did
So
the first
you
Mayweather fight 3 years ago in the metaverse. And then,
oh.
and then we did the Lamborghini metaverse for them and stuff like my partner, he's 40 years old. He's a genius when it comes to technology. He
So when
built,
you say the metaverse, are you talking about like the crypto metaverse?
yeah, yeah,
Or are
yeah.
you talking about like what is the metaverse in your scenario that you're talking about?
Okay, like the meta. Okay, so let's take the Floyd fight. Okay, so the fight was in Dubai, but we built a metaverse platform, and the fight also was shown in the metaverse with the kids. Because the kids are into the metaverse and stuff like that. So they came in the metaverse and watched the fight.
What's the platform that they were going on to watch it? What's the platform where the metaverse exists?
Okay, our platform is called Meta Stadiums.
Okay.
Yeah, they came right into our platform.
That's wild.
I'm gonna
See,
have
yeah,
to send.
the tech side of
I'll
this
send.
stuff's like,
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, and then, like I said, right now we have an influencer agency. We have 400 influencers right now, and
whoa.
so I'm gonna end up turning that. I'm gonna turn my comic book. I'm gonna move it over to some of the influencers. Like I like to get things started because if you get it started, people want to help you. Because if you don't have, like, if you go to people and you want them to help and then you don't have nothing, I mean, but why would you? Like why would you help somebody and they don't have anything? You see what I'm saying?
True, yeah.
So once you get to a certain level, they'd be like, oh hell yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah, it
back.
makes total sense.
Yeah, I'm back trying to, I'm back building everything because I can do a lot of stuff for myself. I hire my different people, like, the comic book artists and stuff like that. But the good thing is I know how to put everything together because I learned that from the music from my first, CD. I know each step,
Yeah,
because once you know how to put a product together and package it and then market it, I mean, it's the same thing. It's just different products.
yeah.
So that's what because what I'm trying to do is at least get my pre-launch followers to at least 800 if I can. I'm at 512 right now.
You're now at 513.
Am I? Oh, okay, okay. I'm
I
at
just added,
513.
yeah, yeah.
So now, okay, and then what I'm getting ready to do now I'm getting ready to go into the martial art target market now. I just talked to Black Belt magazine and Kung Fu magazine, and they're going to do some email blasts for me. But
Nice.
I had to get it to where when I sent it, they like, wow, like if I go to them and got one cover and don't have anything, it's hard to get that help.
Yeah, it's like you have to be trending. Like they
Yeah,
won't listen to you or really notice unless they're like, "Oh, I want to hop on this train." Otherwise, you just get the email gets ignored.
yeah,
But if you have something like you said, then they're like, it's almost like better for them to jump on that ship and ride with you as opposed to ignoring it. It's like, but you have to flash them. You have to,
yes,
it's all sales. Like you have to just wow people. You have
yes,
to be like, this is it, like, and I did everything. All you have to do is, and like you did, all the information they need's there. every cover, everything. You
I mean, you
made the
see
press kit
everything.
for them. Like they
And you
just
know what?
click,
I
send.
haven't even sent you my film one sheet. Now, if I sent you that, you'd be like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to
Yeah, yeah.
bog you down with
No,
all the
I
stuff
just
that
knew you had all your ducks in the row. That's what
yeah,
was my point with that. Was like,
yeah, yeah.
not that it was too much. It's just like this guy knows it.
Okay, like I give you example. So a friend of mine, he just called me today and he said one of his old friends, he's been in tech for a long time and he's really good with AI. And he said, man, he's looking for some animation projects. Okay. I
hmm
I have an animation project, Black Salt, The Legend of New Shaolin. And I got the first pilot written and just a couple characters, because I can't do everything at one time. But he said, yeah, man, I would love to see that because we'll do his trailer for him and stuff like that. And I was like, just this morning he called me. I said, wow. Because I don't have the money to do all the product lines at one time. But
Yeah.
now this guy is going to help me do a trailer. So now my animation series will have a trailer. Do you know how powerful that is? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
That's how you wow people. When they see a real trailer, that to them, when I say real, it's like it looks the same. Like when you said you went to Best Buy and you're like, it looks the same as the thing on the shelves. It's at the same quality. Like,
uh-huh.
and it's in the same genre. Like,
Yep.
okay, you're not gonna open it up and there's like it's just dust in there. Like it's real. I have the trailer. Like you send that like it's like if you have everything for them, like that, then everything seems easy.
But yeah, man, like I
But
said,
it's real work to get
yeah,
there.
yeah, but like I said, when I first came across you, I went through your whole website and everything, man. You've done a lot of stuff yourself. So let me ask you, how do you get your okay, so let's look at Kickstarter. Is it fairly easy to you, or how do you feel?
Nothing's easy. I like, but at the same time, like it's like what you learn. Like once you do something once, you package something, you get everybody involved, you market it, you at least learn the basic steps.
Okay,
With me and Kickstarter, um, I kind of it's like I know the steps and the one that I most recently did, it's like I went through the bare minimum of all of them and I got a bare minimum result. Um, but at the same time, it's like I never really had anything click. So I was hoping that like, okay, if I do some ads here or sort of do my email list, somebody might give me something that makes me realize like this should be the avenue I go and this should be my like target audience. Like I thought I might be like, all right, I can go heavy in this space. Like because I that's what I did with like my Liquid Kill series
yeah,
was I found
yeah, I
the
like that liquid
cyberpunk
kill, man.
community.
That's tight. I like that. That was
Yeah, that and with your black salt stuff, there's a lot of similarities of how you're going about this that I'm gonna try to mimic and connect with you as I try to go
Hey,
bit
I'm trying to
heavier
mimic and see
and
what
get.
you was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, well, actually, I guess like one thing I was gonna ask if you're doing that I'm considering is basically I like everything. At some point, if you really are at a wall, you have to pay somebody to help you.
Yeah,
Whether that's like your influencers or tech people or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And I was gonna get, like you were saying, sales agents. There's kind of finance people who, for a fee, they basically can package your film for you, such as Buffalo 8 and
Okay, you know what? I know
those
Buffalo.
guys.
I know. So let me, like I said, I know a lot of. To me, Buffalo 8 now, they're too expensive, man. I mean, the
Well,
prices.
that's what I was gonna get your insight on. Is
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't do. Like I
if you
said,
looked into that, what made you go away from it? Just too
they're
pricey,
just too
not
expensive.
enough for the not
Look,
result for
they
the
want like
price.
10 grand. They want some.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's too much. That's too much. See, the
Well,
whole
but
key.
there are other guys like other people that I know that are basically line producers who they
Okay,
basically do the same thing and they are cheaper. But
okay.
that's where I'm at is where I'm considering is basically like finding someone that's sort of the budget maker, which is kind of what a line producer does,
Yeah, yeah. Line
but
producer,
also
budget.
one of those guys that sort of can also just help. sort of figuring out the rest of it at the same time, as
Yeah.
far as like it's like sort of connecting me with the casting director. If they have the budget, I
See,
can
man, I'm
then,
going to tell you, I'm going to tell you the key. If you could get a sales agent, that's the
yeah,
key
yeah, that's
because
it.
they will help you package everything. They will help you
Yeah,
pack.
well, that's so I reached out to a couple of them, and that's where I am at a sort of standstill because the ones that took me seriously did not treat Liquid Kill seriously. And they were basically like,
Really?
I'll package this as like a $50,000 movie, not a 50 million. And
What?
I was like, that's not what this is. I was like, the graphics, I mean, the comic book series was budgeted at that level, not the feature, like the
Are you
franchise film,
serious?
And yeah, that's like who like actually like got back to me. Sort of the other people that are kind of more high level as far as like sales agents, most of them didn't either like didn't respond to my cold emails or whatever, or it was sort of like a friend of a friend, and they're the ones that are helping me out with like my other film at Eats with Feeds. But Liquid Kill is just sort of in limbo. Well, I guess like everything, I'm sort of like I'm trying to like the one I've gotten the most traction on is It Eats What Feeds It, and I don't want to just like try to put all my eggs in multiple baskets. I'm trying to go heavy
Yes.
with It Eats What Feeds It and like all
Yes.
the people that are involved in that. And that's now at like the basically script phase. I have directors and like another producer involved. But it's like as far as on the back end, like where what you're saying, it's like kind of if you go like the point I was saying earlier is like if you go to the people that gives you the specs that they need, the sales agents and the distributors who say, here's who's looking for films, and like you said, they basically package it for you because they know what their buyers want. Um, in this case, it's I have like we haven't gotten like that level to package this big of a film yet because it's now at the stage of like we're looking at I think 20 million or something like that.
Okay. It's
um
funny that that's what my budget is.
okay,
Yeah.
which is like just I feel like those are the harder as they say, like those don't exist as much anymore. It's either you go as low as possible or you're in with the big dogs, but I feel like it's at least for what I know, it's like that it is happening. It's
No,
not
the
like
$20
it doesn't
million
happen.
is a sweet spot for films right now,
Yeah.
because some of that's too small, you're not gonna make the money, but 20 million, that'll get you in the game. And you don't need, see, man, what's killing Hollywood right now is the budgets are just way over, they're just too oversaturated. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It just, they just it's just too much. I mean, you can't break even, like I said, you got these movies now that the budget is 300 million, and then your P&A is 300 million, and now you're
Yeah.
talking about 600 million. So you're not gonna break even. There's
No,
gonna be
there's no way.
no
But
way.
if your budget's 20 and you can film it for 10, spend 10 on marketing and then advertising or whatever
Well, okay,
on
well, let
the
me tell you how
back
that
end.
works. Okay, so if your budget is 20 million, then and you get that budget, there's investors that they call P&A investors. They'll come in and loan you the P&A. Like if you already have your production budget, you can go
Mm-hmm.
out and get a P&A loan.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
see, like I
That's
said,
the kind of stuff that I've never actively done, but the
okay,
people that I'm like partnered with, they know all this stuff. They
okay.
know how to be like, if we film it here, we get this amount of tax credits.
Yeah,
We just
get the
have to
tax
go through
credits,
this
yeah.
person, and then we'll get this percentage back, and we'll be able to use that as collateral to get a loan for this and that. And
Because that's
like,
what
I don't
yeah.
do, luckily, like, there's people that I'm partnered with that know that kind of
See,
stuff. And I like
I
just
know that because like I said, I studied this stuff.
nice.
Because like I
Yeah.
said, we want to shoot New Jersey because New Jersey has a 45% tax credit. You see what I'm
Nice.
saying? I mean, that's
Yeah,
very
that's like as high
okay.
as they go. I don't
Yeah,
know of
and then see the
anybody
good thing
higher than
too.
that.
Okay, usually a tax credit is just for below the line, and that's all your equipment and all of that. New Jersey has it for below the line and above the line. You
Oh,
see this?
whoa.
Yes, yes.
Dang, New Jersey's see, like, so my book at Eat to Feeds, it takes place in New Orleans. And New
Oh,
Orleans has, I want to say, it's like, see, now you'll know how this makes sense. To me, it's like it's still never fully hit my head, but it's something like it says it's 35%. But what that
okay.
really means is 20% of that of your film or whatever, or like you're saying, the active production crew, if I use those people, that'll cover, like 20% of whatever I spend there comes back.
Hmm.
And then or of the so like if the budget is 10 million, 20% of that will come back to me if I spend it on people who work in New
Right,
Orleans
right, right, right.
or
Yeah,
at least in Louisiana. And
yes.
then they have these extra credits to where it's like if you use a post-production studio in Louisiana, you get 5% or whatever it is
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
where it
because
adds up to a certain
yes,
amount.
it adds up. It adds up. So, okay, so if you got that, and then okay, so say you had a sales agent. So let's just say with all your tax credits, say you end up with 35%. Okay, so you got 35% here. Now, just say a sales agent can go and get you a pre-sale. Say Canada likes your film and they say, okay, we'll give you, $4 or $5 million for that. Okay. So say we'll give you 30%. So now you got 35% with the tax credits, then you got 35% for the pre-sale. Now you can go and get a bridge loan. You see what I'm saying? To take care
Yeah,
of,
no, I get
yes,
the line
because
here.
it's the
But
pieces.
what's like the holdup? Like what's been like your bottleneck with the sales agents? Do they just not make good deals, or they not get back to you? Or
Well, you know what? It's funny because I'm just starting to go after sales agents because I wanted
okay,
to get
yeah.
my script. I've already did like 6 rewrites, and it's funny because I just sent my script to an award-winning script writer. Man, I'm going to tell you, man, these scripts, it is very hard to get.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right there with you in the exact same boat to where I haven't gone to those people because my partners basically say we need a undeniable screenplay.
Yep,
Like if now like you have all the trailers, you have the concept film, you have
yep,
all the proof of
yep,
concept,
yep,
but now you need a script
yep.
that's undeniable and basically, some kind, at least one asset attached, whether that's a director or an actor or actress. And so I'm have to fine tune the screenplay, and I'm basically have to doing it myself because I can't afford to hire somebody
Okay, but
on
I
that
tell you
is
where
a
you can
list.
go. I tell you where you can go. They got a lot of good screenplay writers and everything. It's Fiverr.
No way.
Yeah, that's right. Like I said, look, I just got coverage back today from my guy from Fiverr. I got
And
it. I
it's
got it back today. You know what I'm saying?
nice,
So,
nice.
yeah, yeah, because you got to look at, man, since the industry, a lot of people don't have any work. You got a lot
Yeah.
of good people that's on Fibers that's at the top of the list.
And that's actually who's been finding me is like people that are very high level in the film industry that are just like, now I'm getting into comics and I found you, and it's just like, so that's actually how I broke in and got the partners that I am now is basically like people that found me from the film industry because they are trying to basically break out. If somebody was a TV writer
Uh-huh.
for years and years, and then they basically are um not doing that anymore or just trying to break out and they go through the same motions as anybody else where
Yeah,
they're trying to write their own stuff, trying to produce
yeah,
their own stuff, and then they also are like trying to get paid consulting fees and doing
yes,
feedback and stuff and trying to make comic books and just like like you're leveraging or trading off rights. It's just like people being like, I'll look at your screenplay if you help me get my comic book kickstarted, or like if
yeah,
you You have the connections to the editors and publishers, now you whatever. And that's what brought me to now creating my sponsor of the show, ICDb, which is like because I got tech people that were also interested in this stuff. And I was like, well, I like everything in comics needs basically like no one knows how to take like the understanding that their book is IP that's very valuable is not well known. And the people that are in this space, like they need to be able to easily find it and license it. And us that are comic book creators, like we need to be able to connect to each other all in a portal and be able to basically pitch each other and high level people and not have to rely like there are some but there's like very few agents in comics like
Yeah,
there's no one that can do that much for you that you can't do on your own.
yeah,
All
yeah,
you really need is just to know the contact info, and just like you and I know, it's like if you have quality stuff to show them, they will listen. You don't need a middleman in between to connect you to a high level person in comics to get published. If you have the book and it's good, like they will take it seriously. And so I created a hub for that. But it's interesting that kind of like it's not just for comic book people because we're sort of one facet of an even bigger industry. There's a lot of people on the outside that are looking in. So there's television writers that are trying to get into comic books and they need to connect with the artists or even comic book script writers and then uh, film producers are looking for completed IP that they can then option and then turn into films and things like that. And so that's why I created that hub. Um, and but now I forgot why I was talking about that. Something you said reminded me that it was like, oh yeah, because in reality, it's like everybody sort of is trading skill sets.
yeah, man. Because people don't
And
have the
that's how
money
you
right
can
now,
afford
man.
to
The
do
money's
things.
tight right now, man. People don't have the
Yeah.
money. Money's tight, you know. Yeah, it's funny because the hub, I was just on Facebook because I'm in like 100 Facebook comic book groups. So what I do is each day I do a post for each, for one group, so it's not like I'm spamming, so just like this group, and I just each day I just go, and then by the time I get back started again, and I do a new one, like anything that you can do to, to try to
Every
get.
little thing, everyone can you and yeah, and I've noticed that like you have to respond to other people. You have
Yes,
to give feedback on someone else's thing
yes,
way that gets more traction than like me just posting in a group or posting to my own social media and saying, look at my thing. No one cares. But if I look at their thing and go, that's cool, I'm almost more likely that they'll go, who said I was cool? And then see what I'm doing more than them doing the opposite. That's my little tidbit. I'm not no expert, but it's like that's a to we have been talking a while. I guess my final note on all this is like that I've been learning from you aside from the specific details, but like in general, is like you have to do the work. And if you don't do it yourself, like you have to do a lot yourself, and then
yeah,
you basically have to partner or hire with
yeah,
somebody
yeah, yeah, we
else to
got to
do
help each
even
other,
more.
man.
Because
See, I don't mind helping people, but a lot of times they don't help me, and see, I can't do that. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? See, I can't you can't afford to do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you help me, I'll help you. You know what I mean? But a lot of people just want to take, but like I said, man, because we all got connections. We all got
hmm
connections. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and it matters. I mean, in the end, that's how things really get made, is like the
yeah,
relationships you have. And when everything goes south, remember what I was saying, obviously you know this, but for the groups, it's like when the stars have to align, what that means is when one person falls out, you have to be able to call someone and go, Um, I have 9 out of 10 ducks. I just need one more.
yeah,
Like, and someone with, respect, has to be able to have, you have to have that relationship. And like, you helped that person. No one's going to give you that 10th duck unless you helped them before,
yeah, yeah,
like that, like a lot of times every story you hear, like everything's built on a shoestring. And that's what happens is like people are cool and like the hardcore The people that are just ride or die are the ones that get it made.
Like
Like,
I met a German financier, and so what he helps, okay, but okay, like you were talking about Buffalo 8. Okay, Buffalo 8 want 10 grand. That's way too much. Now he says he want 2 grand. So I'm filling him out. He will get you a sales agent, and then once the sales agent gets you a territory, he can help get you some more financing. You see what I'm saying?
hmm
But you need a director attached to your project. That's
yeah,
what his prerequisite is. You have to have a director. And even if, you end up getting another one, but for his program, because he deals with, since he's a financier, he deals with all the sales agents. So if he sends your project to a sales agent, here again is who you know, because they know he's a
yeah,
financier. See, the only thing I don't have, because man, when he saw black salt, he said, "Oh my God!" Like he was shocked when I sent him my package. Because first, I sent the letter, and then he said, "Okay, yeah, let me see what you got." He said, "Send me your package." And when I sent him the package, he was just like, "Well, damn," you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like he could.
It's a real package.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah,
real
yeah.
deal.
He said, so now I'm on looking for a director now. See that's like I do everything in phases because if you
hmm
have this piece, so between looking for a director on this side and then waiting for Ozzy, because if Ozzy takes Black Salt, it's a wrap. Because he got financing and see,
Yeah.
what I want with Ozzy is I wanted to put it in deadline, the trade.
hmm
Man, that look, if you put like you got money for your film or anything in the trade, that's the gospel, man. You can attract a lot of people if
Yeah,
you,
I mean that's like you said, that's the gospel of it's real. They say it's
yes,
not real till it's real.
yes.
That's kind of like the end of the line of like if it makes it to deadline, you had the packet, you had the financing, you have the director, you like it's going down the line now.
Because you know what I
There's
want to
still
do.
it could still fall, but like
Yeah,
you made
yeah.
it through
But what I
most
want
of
to
the hoops.
do, because I asked Ed, could he ask Ozzy? Because Ozzy's project was just in deadline in December. He just They just launched it like he's getting his 50 million and he's financing films. And he got over 500 phone calls after that. See,
I'm sure. Yeah.
so what I want to do, so I asked Ed, I said, Ed, can you ask Ozzy, can he put, black salt? And then in deadline, I'm putting, and also Ratty is turning the comic book series into the graphic novel and have the pre-launch link there.
Damn. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
see,
You see, you got
like
it
I
all
said, man, see,
lined
I'm a
up.
marketing guy.
Uh-huh.
So anywhere I can do anything. So let me ask you, because I didn't even know that was you, because I found you guys on Facebook with the little group that you starting. Uh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and see, I didn't realize that was you because, like I said, I had talked to you. So you don't remember Black Salt? You don't remember?
No, I do.
Because this might have
But
been about
whenever
six
you
months
must
ago.
have
This might have
initially
been about
talked to
6
me,
months ago.
I think that
I had found you because you sent me some material and stuff.
yeah, yeah. But I guess we just never lined anything up.
No, no, we
And
didn't.
and I, and at that time, see, so now like I do like less services or whatever,
Yeah,
or like I'm trying to take myself away of being the expert because I started to realize that, you know, I don't want to teach. I want
yeah,
to be the guy that makes movies,
yeah. Because you were trying to
So I
teach.
was just like,
Yeah, that's too much time. That's too much
yeah,
time.
and
Yeah,
I
that's
was like,
way too much.
yeah, it's like I'm basically doing work for free or very close to free to basically teach people that are at level 0 how to get to level 1, where I myself am still trying to get to level,
Yeah,
9,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to do that for yourself, because most people are just gonna waste your time, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yes.
so if we lost connection in the past, it was kind of because I was just sort of trying to get away from like basically consulting. So it was just kind of like, hey, I'm doing a podcast, like we'll just do a podcast kind of thing. And
Yes,
that's why
yes,
this time, whenever we talked, it was like, yep, let's just start talking.
yes, yes,
As opposed to being like, because everything's sort of like a tit for tat to where like people that reach out is kind of like, oh, do you want me to read your thing and review it? And if you do, it's like, how soon do you want it? How much do you care about it? What are you trying to do? And I think at that time, yeah, I don't remember. It was kind of like, all right, this is something that I can take serious if I'm going to be an editor or something, but I'm going to put this on the back burner as because at that time I was literally like work for hire. So people were being like, I
yeah.
need you to
I saw that. Yeah.
write this script for me.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
took so much time that I
Woo.
like just couldn't do. And then like, yeah, so I cut all that off. And so
Good.
for the past
Good.
6 months,
Yeah.
I've done like nothing but write my own stuff,
Yeah.
produce my own stuff, and I ended up starting this company. And like that's what happens is if I focus all on my own, I do like way too much. And like all of a sudden it's just like, you have every coals in a million different fires. But it's nice because it's my IP,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
worried about other people. And the other downside is like when you're involved in someone else, they feel like like I have a responsibility to like make sure they're successful, or if they're like they don't like my feedback, they basically say that I suck, and it's like it just turns into this like nope, this isn't worth it. um but yeah, I'm glad we finally connected now because yeah, in the past I was just getting too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the good
So let
stuff
me
is
ask you,
falling
do
through the
you have a
cracks.
director? Do you have a director?
I do have a director for It Eats What Feeds It.
Okay.
Yes, and um yeah, it's one of those things where like I don't want to go too much into it publicly, but it's like because I don't want, things can get tricky fast as far as like is what's in writing and somebody like this person didn't actually agree to this, but the short answer is yes. Where I'm at now is I need the script and I need it to be really good so that it's like then I'll be ready to actually go and take that to the sales agents.
Okay.
And at that point, I'll be reaching out to you to figure out who
Okay.
you
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
been
man. I
working.
have no problem. I have no problem. Yeah, I have no problem.
Heck yeah.
Giving you.
Um, when do you launch issue 5 of Black Salt?
You know what? Like I said, I'm just taking my time because I want to do the marketing first. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
build it up. Let's get to
I'm
800.
not, so I'm looking at right now, just maybe the middle of March. But see, I'm gonna let my followers, and I'm trying to build up my email list, and I'm doing the marketing right now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't
Uh-huh.
know. I honestly don't know. And then see, I'm hoping that I can get this from my movie side, like say if Ozzy, signs me because he's really interested, and then I can put it in deadline. See, I'm looking for just like a big piece like that because, like I said, if I can then say Black Salt, the feature is funded, it'll be a whole different. See, I'm very strategical with my marketing. You know what I
No,
mean?
that makes total sense. If you're,
Yes,
and especially if you're like possibly that close, it's like
yes, I am.
might as well. There's no point in losing out on that publicity bump and not actually get the traffic from it.
Because yep, yep. Because I'm even talking to the head guys at Kickstarter right now.
Nice.
Because see now what got them is I sent the hey, I got 520. See, people want to see.
Yeah, you've
So
got
that kind of
a
like
real
wow.
fan
So
base.
because for independent, that's not bad for independent.
No, that's not bad at all.
512 followers. That's not bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
launched with like 80.
Okay, okay, okay. So why, like, why, because to me, I just thought you had to have the more you
You
had.
you do. Yeah, I tell other people don't do that. My thing was I essentially all the people that I knew wanted it were on board, and I was
Okay,
like, I'm just gonna satisfy those people. And whenever I do my next campaign, because like you, I am also in talks with bigger publishers. And actually, like the part I don't like at the time, I thought I was gonna start a new publisher and I was gonna take that as my big new business venture. and very quickly realized that I was like not gonna make any money from it, and like that it was gonna be a lot of more work than I thought, and like the partners I had on it were just didn't weren't interested, and so my debut comic was gonna be like starting that publisher, and so I was gonna try to like make that like the big launch. But whenever that like dwindled away, like 6 to 9 months before I did the Kickstarter for that book, I was like, let me just satisfy the people to get the book out there now that it's like done and I am like doing the campaign. And then I'll try to do my real marketing as I do like the bigger launch whenever I actually go with bigger publisher. Because I have other, you know, people that are interested and I'm just trying to figure out like who's going to pull the trigger on it and like how do I want to do the real bigger launch with that since I'm no longer going the route of what was called Sacco Press. And it's still there. I'm still doing things. It's just not like the big like the whole thing that I'm doing. I instead put all my eggs into a different basket, the ICDb um app that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
launched
yeah,
instead.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like um yeah, so yeah, it's like I knew it wasn't. It was just enough to where I knew I was going to cover the people that wanted the book and the printing costs I had already budgeted, which
Okay,
was basically $1,200.
okay.
So I printed the books and did all that, and I got them at the conventions that I had already booked, so it ended up working out. But yeah, it's still like the probably bigger the real launch where not necessarily real, but like with distribution through Lunar and stuff like that. I just that's whenever I'll
So
start
you
doing the
go through
marketing.
Lunar? You go through Lunar?
That's the plan right now, as long as the publisher um that get into agreement with the publisher. The problem is my book is has a lot of nudity and it's very gory. And
Yeah.
a lot of publishers like there are books that do that. Um but they're huge titles. Um, and so the publisher that initially agreed, I'm not sure if I didn't, they didn't read it the whole way through. So now
Mm,
I'm like waiting for approval of the whole thing. Because just like you, like they saw the pitch, they saw the trailer, they saw all this, loved it. Um, but it's like, but you didn't read the last 30 pages, which is when everything gets really crazy. And it's like, I just want to make sure that that gets through. If that
yeah.
does, I'll likely be going through a publisher that gets distributed through Lunar, and like then I'll start doing the heavy marketing.
Because like I said, when I first started the comic books, like I don't care if I don't make any money off the comic books. To me, that's a lost leader, and that's my marketing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't even care,
Yeah, in the end, I'm trying to go for bigger. I'm in the same boat as you,
yeah,
but at
because
the
I got the
same time,
movie, I got the video game, I got the merchandising. So
yeah,
what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna relaunch my, the 30-minute mini feature. And maybe
okay,
do, like $1.99 and get the comic book for free. Like I said, I'm looking into,
yeah, yeah,
something like that, because like I said, I
that's
don't,
smart.
because to me, now maybe I'm wrong. Is there really money in comics now? Because I just see, everything shrinking. I see the profits.
Well, it's just like anything else to where if you can keep them coming back, there
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
But um, there's not if it's a one and done thing, it's likely you're gonna spend just as much on marketing as you did on the book, and it's gonna earn back. You're gonna be splitting everything with the publisher and the retailer, and you're gonna be getting 15% of whatever you bring in, and all in all, you might break even, and that's with a semi big hit. And then if you
mm,
do it through Kickstarter, like with what you're doing, it's like you're doing all your own marketing. So you're spending everything on that. By the end of it, even with 500, 800 followers, it's like, let's just say, let's just say you get 1,000, maybe 5 to 800 actually buy the thing.
right.
You maybe average $50 spend, um, and then you're spending 30 to send them everything because you're going to be giving them all kinds of perks and stuff like that, or whatever it is, including shipping. So it's like you're you're lucky to like break even and then profit from it. And that's after like that's like revenue before you factor in the production costs because you have to
Mhm.
hire the artists and all that.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it's a tough
It
game.
is.
It's like,
Yes.
yeah.
So to me, like I said, it's just a loss, like I said, it's just a lost leader for marketing for me
Hmm.
because I got
Yeah.
the movie, the video game, but it's a good base when you can market the comic book at least because it gets it out, it gets it out there. Like right now, I just started, I'm giving issue 4 away. You know what I'm saying? And then,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
that's the other thing is in the end, you end up giving everything away for free just to get people on board to the bigger thing you're doing. But in that sense,
uh,
it's like that's sort of what it's all about. Like for the people that are truly in the love of the game of the comics and they're just about comics only, it's like it will build your career and then you'll start to get paid page rates or whatever, and your book is like in a big publisher and just the titles consistently sell, and then you're making profit because you're not doing everything or whatever. But for the beginning, if you're just talking, I created a thing and now I'm trying to sell the thing, the IP, the book, the graphic novel, the issue by issue. Um, yeah, it's like it's not that there's no money in comics,
yeah,
it's just that it's super tough
yeah,
to make it. And then when you do to be consistent with it, it's like you have to have a greater goal to
yes,
really make it worthwhile. Because if you're even if your goal is just to get like established in the scene in the industry of being like, okay, like this person, or like in our example, like in order for people to be wowed, they have to see that you sold like, 1,000 copies of it on your own. They have to see that it was a bestseller with a certain publisher. And you have to go through the same motions, whether you're self-publishing it or publishing with a publisher, to get that level of attention on it. You
yeah,
have to personally, it's like I've talked about this in other videos. That Kanye West documentary, I forget what it was called, where like it shows him to where like he's already signed with whatever Jay-Z's record company is. He's already like a known producer. Everybody knows him in the studio, but he still personally went to MTV. He still personally made the video. He still had to do all this stuff on his own to actually get to the like a status of truly like memorable. Because until he did all that, he was just another guy signed with the record label, which is still mind blowing to anybody else. But to him and anybody that's really trying to, it's the same in comics. Like just because you have the book or even are with the publisher, no one really cares unless you like stand out and get word of mouth. And you have to get out there and
yeah.
put the word in people's mouths. Like
Now, what
you
is
have to
that?
tell them what to say.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, okay. No, no, you're right. So yeah, man, like I said, but I really don't care about making a profit with the comics. That's not what I'm doing it, for. You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
I get you.
I could care less, because it's just marketing. I'm a marketing guy. I know you got to spend a little money, for the marketing right now, And I noticed these like the big publishers when they do a crowdfunding, man, they be making like $200,000. And see, I'm trying to tap that. I'm trying to figure out how can I do that, you know?
That they're a numbers game too,
Yeah.
like it and actually like a few of the people I worked with in the past, like the editor of Liquid Pill, Kevin Rodatelli, he just his Kickstarter broke crazy numbers. He made 500,000, I think, off of SWAT cats. And a lot of the stuff I know today, I learned a lot from him, like licensing rights and stuff like that. And there's a lot that like you, there probably I can do a podcast with him and figure out like how do you do that kind of stuff. I know a lot of it is just numbers where it's just like he knows, and that's how like he like partners with people is SWAT Cats has a fan base that is huge in other countries and here, and it's just like when there's 40,000 people that are a part of a fan group of a certain IP, and you get the people that created that IP involved, well, now you have 40,000 people, and
So let me ask you
40,000.
this. Okay, so see, I'm trying to look for people. So have you ever thought of, and of course he has the guy, the owner of SWAT, they have to see that your IP is worthwhile. Like I wish I could find some of those guys. And if, say they see Black Salt and say, oh man, I know we can help you. Okay, man, I give you half the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
See, I'm a marketing guy. I'm trying to look for that angle. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to look for that angle.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to build with ICDB
yeah,
is
yeah.
like to help connect the people on both sides like that.
Yes, yes.
It's I still got a lot to build to make it powerful, but like that is like kind of the idea with that because like I was saying earlier, like there aren't really agents in it. Like you have to sort of reach out directly to a lot of people and you have to that's the other thing is like on top of the marketing, you have to intake all these like people's Substacks and figure out what's the news and what company's doing this and who did that, and who knows about this. You have to watch YouTube videos. It's a full-time job just consuming the content to learn about the industry that you already know a lot about or that you're actively in. And then you have to actually do the outreach and do the posts, and it's just like it's a lot of work, and that's why you
Yeah,
lose people. That's
yeah,
why
yeah,
like people don't stay in the game that long,
yeah.
because when you realize,
You can't
oh well,
afford it.
this
You
is how
can't
the
afford it.
sausage is
Yeah.
made, you
So
just got
so
to
do
give
you
up.
know a lot of the bloggers? Like have you ever got a story on some of the bigger, blogs and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I can off camera I'll send you my whole spreadsheet of all this
No,
stuff.
no, but what I'm saying, but do they, when you send it to them, if they, how hard is it? Because, everything is, because, I've been sending to some of the bloggers and some bloggers I get, and some of the bigger
Yeah, I'm the
bloggers.
same. Some of them it's hit or miss. I've had
Yeah.
people I've spent just as quality of like a media press kit to send to the people that people have picked up in the past, like CBR did a review of a comic book I did, and then
Yeah.
other times they just totally ignored me. So
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's like you have to find the person at the place that you're trying to do and you have to reach that person directly. I have
Oh,
not had much success just like going through contact forms or submission
yeah.
forms. Like I
Like
have
like
to
like
find the editor.
bleeding cool, man. I've been trying to get on there, and I be seeing some comic books that not nowhere like mine, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah. I Leading Cool's is the exact same to where like I had them respond to me immediately about a book in the past, but that was whenever I was coming at them in connection to somebody that already was partnered with them. I was
Okay.
with a publisher that basically had a good relationship with them. And so
Ah,
whenever I emailed, I was like CC'd that publisher and basically said, hey, like they told me to reach out to you. Here's our thing. Here's what it was. And they just said, yep, gotcha. It'll go live tomorrow. Send here, make sure you attach the links. And then I come at them on my own and, did essentially the same thing and just no response. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. Everything's hit or miss. And it's like some days, like I just get like depressed. No one will
Yeah, no,
respond. I
yeah,
get
yeah,
like ghosted. And then the next day, people are like, yes, finally, like I loved your past book. I love this book. What do you want to do? Let's do it. It's like, and you just forget that like it's a small world and everybody's busy and money's tight and
yeah,
like just don't take it personally. Like it's
yeah,
just like people just I just like I might have overlooked what you did in the past and now it's like it's just like it has nothing to do with people or what you sent them. It's just like it could sometimes just be like you sent it at 5 o'clock on a Friday, man. Like sorry, I opened it and then forgot about it.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
that's just sometimes it's just stuff like that, and then other times it's like Bleeding Cool is also probably we're using them as like an example, but
yeah,
like
yeah,
name any like kind of company. It's like Diamond, they go bankrupt. Like there's
yeah,
companies are just going through
yeah.
everybody's in a weird place. And
They are.
sometimes, this marketing and sales, you just have to keep hitting
Yep,
people up
yep,
sometimes.
yep,
Like
yep, yep.
you sort of have to be annoying. It sucks to be that guy, but at the same time, it's like that's what you got to do. We're in this game for the long haul.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're
yeah,
we're we're in it for the stars. I'm not in it for the little profits. I'm trying to make a name. I'm trying to get my name on Mount Rushmore.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
That's all the other my other like thing is like uh to close on my note again now that we could talk for a long time, but yeah, it's just like you have to love this stuff and you
Yeah,
have to want to like you want have to want to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna get burnt out,
Yeah.
and it's tough. Yeah, I don't
Hey,
know.
so you got a lot of people signed up already for the, for the IC, you got a
Yeah,
lot.
it's like I've got a lot signed up. I just haven't gotten many people to play around with it, and the people
Yeah.
that are playing around with it are like really happy with it. They're like,
Okay.
"Oh, this is doing way more than I thought." Like if you like everybody's been saying like you've built it, they will come. Like just like keep fine tuning it. It needs some design things, but they're like, but what the does like will work. Like we all want this. It's like it's just that we're just not all there yet, but we'll get there. And I just launched. I mean, this it's like literally like week 3. I haven't even made the video saying check out my thing yet. I
Yeah.
made like an initial teaser.
Yeah,
So
I
like it's
saw
still
that. I
very
saw
early,
that.
but
Yes, I saw that.
yeah, it's like it's I'm getting a lot of good feedback, and but it's just like now's like the hard part is like it's the 80-20 rule to where like we did 80% and now this like last 20 is like really fine tuned it to make it really good. Is like it's just getting hard. And now you're like stress testing it because I have people on it and they're uploading a lot of files. I'm
Oh,
learning a lot though, man. It's just like
yeah,
anything else. I've never really started a tech company before.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
got this whole metaverse thing.
yeah, yeah,
I trial by fire. Like so it's just like it's really interesting how this is all going. And
yes.
but yeah, if you get a chance, check it out. I
Yeah,
know
no,
that
no, no. Like I said,
you
I
said you
signed
will.
up. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gotta do my profile. Look, I've been so busy marketing for the comic book,
Yeah, and no rush. I'm super busy too. Yeah,
But
I get
but
it. But
yeah, no,
yeah,
but
I feel
I
like that's
signed up. I signed
a
up
lot of
already.
people are like that. I got a lot of signups, and then I've got like 30 people that have like really taken it seriously and they're like really happy with it. So I just have to get, slowly build them and grind them. Just
Right.
it's marketing it. It's just like anything else. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you just go through the same motions. And I'll start marketing it heavy here shortly. But it's now 9, so I will let you go.
Okay.
Um, if you got any closing notes, let us know. Where can we find you? Other than ICDb, no.
Yeah, yeah, no, but I'm gonna set my profile up and everything,
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, because I just got the new graphic cover finished. I'm just like I said, so I want to put my best foot forward, on there.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Get it
know.
all out there, showcase it, and then we make it to where on your profile you have like a showcase section where like that can be the cover and it links to like the no get the pre-launch page
Pre-launch?
for your
Okay.
Kickstarter and stuff
Okay.
like that. Like
Okay.
that's kind
Okay.
of the point of that section. Um, but yeah, other than that, do you have a website or anything like that that people can go to, or like
You,
what's your main
you,
place you send people to, or what's your main social media that you actually are active on?
you know, I send people to my launch page.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, which is on the notes that I had sent you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
send
I
them.
saw it. I'll
Oh,
I'll add
okay.
that to then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
show notes
because
then. If that's where
they
we
can
want to
get the
send them, we'll send them there.
yeah they could get a free the free comic, and then I have all of the information for the pre-launch. Because you give somebody something free, they're more apt to
Yeah,
it's
I know the game. Yeah, you got to
yeah,
give
I don't
something
have to
away.
tell you.
Like, yeah.
Hey man,
That's
but
what
if
I'm doing
you
right now with ICDB. Is like if you join and like you do all the steps of building your profile and stuff, you get my ebook for free,
okay,
which is making and marketing uh independent comic books. It's Indie Comic Empire. The book that I wrote that then turned into this YouTube channel, you get that for free. It's 100+ pages of every step of pre-launch, launch, post-launch, how to become a bestseller in comics, um, and ideally how to profit. And the secret that you learn at the end is the real way to profit is you have to turn it into an empire and branch out your IP into other
yep.
mediums
I
because
read all
you
of that
can't
on
do
your
it
I
alone
read all
with
of that on your on your website. Hey, but if you
this has
need
been great, man.
when
Thank you.
if look, if you need I can send you a couple Fiverr pages that you can go and read each because see or you can go on Fiverr and just put in script doctor.
Okay.
Put in script doctor, and then it's pages of people. And what you have to do is just go and look at each one. You have to do your homework. Sometimes, man,
Hmm.
I'm on Fiverr for like 10 hours. Like I'll go into like just say the script doctors. I went and I read 40 script of the script doctors their pages because I need to know what their skills are. And then
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
email them through Fiverr to see, like I said, you need to, I'll check IMDb, but you can get that for pennies on the dollar, man. Fiverr, I've been using Fiverr for the last 15 years, man.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
used Fiverr for all kinds of my business ventures.
yeah.
And at one point, I hired an artist to do like the very first comic book I ever did to test the
Okay,
waters in comics. I found my artist on Fiverr,
okay,
and we still have a relationship to this day. He's not even on Fiverr anymore. Um,
okay.
but yeah, send me those links, and yeah, I'll probably go live with this next week sometime,
Oh, that's
and I'll
fine.
send you
That's
the link.
fine. I'm just trying to do as many podcasts as I can. Like I've
Yeah,
already,
I'm in the same boat.
yeah,
I'm gonna start doing my circuit too.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually, that reminds me of that. Yeah, I'm like booked either for my own show or on other people's shows for like most of February. So I'm gonna
Okay.
be like
No, that's
by the
good. That's
time by
good.
the end of it. But this is what you got to do.
Yeah. So yeah, man, anything with the film, like I said, that I know that business. You know what I'm saying? So if you got
Yeah, I'll
any,
definitely be connecting back out to you
yeah,
whenever I'm at my, like, probably at the end of the quarter when I'm in, like you said, you go in phases.
yes, yes.
I'm about to hit my next phase when the screenplay's done, and then I'll
Okay.
be hitting you up and be like, "Where are you at with yours?" Because
Okay.
um, like anything, it's just keeping in connection with people and figuring out where
Yes.
people at, and like ultimately, like when one shoe drops, another one fits, or whatever they say. Like,
Like I give you an example, then I'll let you go. And then you got okay. So the guy on Fiverr the uh that sent me the notes. So I'm actually going to let him do a polish on my script. Matter of fact, and he's only charging $200 and he's an award-winning script writer. You see what I'm saying?
oh, okay, yeah,
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 matter of fact, I'm sending him the money tomorrow. You see what I'm
there
saying?
you go.
So like, and to do a script, man, they be wanting 10 grand and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, for
Yeah. So
sure. Yeah,
so you have
that's
so like I
beyond
said,
a
I'm real
steal.
good and and I know, if they're a good writer, I know, what I mean, the questions I ask and if you're on IMDb, what movies have you done and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. So like I said, but yeah. So yeah, but hey man, I'm happy we got back and anything I can do to help, you just send me an email and let me know.
Sounds good, man.
Okay.
Will do.
Okay, it's a pleasure, man. I'm not going to talk your head off. Where are you
No, you're
located?
good. I'll talk forever, and